Well, the economy, of course, is rolling, and it's ahead of the jobs report. But the question is, why isn't the media really covering it in this? I want to go to PricewaterhouseCoopers partner Mitch Roschelle, Fox News contributors Jessica Tarlov and Deneen Borelli. You know, I got to tell you, Mitch, it's frustrating to me because I understand, listen, the mainstream media does not like President Trump, but this is really about American success. You know, yesterday when that number came out that showed employee compensation rising at the fastest pace in 10 years, if you look through the numbers, it was even better for miners, for construction workers. I mean, these are hard-hit Americans for a long time. We should celebrate that.
Totally. And what's interesting is the numbers we talk about on the air here all the time are the numbers that the market cares about, the things that regular average Americans care about. They're feeling too. Wages are going up. After tax take-home pay is going up. On the other side of it, because of tariffs and some diapers are going up in price, oil is going up in price, but generally they feel good, and you see that in consumer confidence, and you see that in spending. Those numbers were very strong recently. So I think Main Street is optimistic.
You know, there's no doubt Main Street is optimistic. In fact, Jessica, I got to tell you, immediately after the election, we saw all of these confidence surveys rocketed up. Whether it was small business, NFIB, the National Association of Home Builders, they put out a confidence report, and there was one line there that really blew me away, and it's prospective foot traffic of potential buyers. For 11 years, it contracted. December 2016, it finally went into expansion. So people, I think, some of the things they were hoping for are coming to fruition, and we just don't hear about it outside of maybe, you know, the business show and things like that.
I would say that you actually do hear about it, but you hear the negative side about it. I've seen a lot of montages of clips of coverage on CNN and MSNBC, for instance, where they're talking about the 4.1% GDP growth number for that quarter, and then it's followed by Obama got that 4 times, and we once hit 5.2%. So I think that's more where the story is. No one can deny the consumer confidence up, the spending up, or the fact that President Trump is now rated at 55% in terms of his handling of the economy. So that discussion is happening, and I think that candidates from both parties who are running more localized elections, which is what they should be doing, are taking note of this. If you look at elections across the middle of the country, for instance, specifically in the Rust Belt, you don't hear the railing on Trump that you used to. You don't hear about necessarily every bad thing about the trade war. There is a discussion with the people who do work in coal mines or manufacturers. So I would say it's out there. It just might have more of a negative spin on it than if it was being administered.
It's so crazy that you would put a negative spin on 4.1% GDP when a lot of people gave up on it. Let me give you guys a stat from this morning's ADP number. In the last 19 months, America has added 836,000 manufacturing jobs, according to ADP. The prior 19 months, 26,000. This is a hell of a story. This should be the #1 story in the country. Again, I'm sure if you're campaigning as a candidate in the heartland, you talk about this all day long.
You can't campaign against that very effectively.
So why, I mean, when it's always about seeking out the bad and the good, that underscores the point here, I guess.
Well, you mentioned it. The fact that the media is so against this president, and it's all resist President Trump as well. I'm a marketing major. You could have a great product, a great service. If you don't advertise it, it doesn't matter. The president is always in sale mode, just like he was in Tampa last night with the rally, talking about how great the economy is. People are back to work, low unemployment. And with those who are up for re-election, Republicans, they don't do a good enough job in talking about how great our economy is, how job growth is, how wages are going up. They need to do what the president is doing, get into sale mode, because the media is not going to do it.
Of course, Glenn Ross, you guys are too young to know it, but Mitch may remember.
ABC, always be closing.
Always be closing. First prize, $10,000. No, the Cadillac.
Cadillac, second prize, steak knives.
Yeah, third prize, you're fired. Because there are mixed reports out there on what the Republicans are running on, and surprisingly, according to the articles I've read so far, not enough of them are following Deneen or Jessica's advice. They're not really talking about the economy as much as you think they would.
Well, they're the ones who voted for tax reform. Tax reform, whether or not it's rocket fuel, we could debate that, but it certainly helped, and it's catalytic to the growth of the economy. It certainly is all evidence suggests that. They should be running on, we're the ones who voted for it, and this is what's benefiting you. I mean, that seems pretty simple to me.
But the other thing they should be running on, I'm sorry to cut you off, is the fact that Democrats did not support the tax cuts. And if they take control of the House, they want to take away your money, take away that hard-earned money that you have earned for you and your family, those bonuses, those higher wages. That's another message that needs to get out there.
I definitely think that they should. I mean, if I was a Republican strategist, which I am definitely not, I would say, yes, that is a smart thing to be saying. Then Democrats can also point to the fact that this administration is mulling a huge capital gains cut, that it really is the 1% that's making more, that our corporate tax rate could go up a little bit, not necessarily back to 35, but in the 25, 26% range.
Well, the corporate rate would not go up under President Trump. In fact, he wants to take it down another percent.
No, that's what they could argue. They say we want to put even more money back in the pockets of the individuals. So I agree with you there. In terms of Republicans being able to talk about the economy, unfortunately for them, there's a lot of noise coming out of this administration that then distracts from being able to focus on that. So when they have to answer questions about Helsinki, for instance, when they have to talk about national anthem protests and things with
I don't
the
think the
president,
average person in Iowa right now is asking about Helsinki. What did that Pew poll have Russia down at 1%, something like that? A Gallup?
Oh, it's the top issue. It's never going to be that. I'm just saying that when Republican Congress people get in front of a camera to do an interview, most likely the interviewer is going to be asking them about the president's latest crazy tweet instead of saying, how's that tax cut working out for your constituents?
And they certainly won't say, golly, according to ADP, 836,000 Americans are back in
Well, who wants to talk
manufacturing.
about that, Charles?
I don't know.
Charles does.
Hey, ABC, always be close. All right, guys.